Obviously, Ronaldo is essentially the LeBron James of that sport, and we can't deny how big of a sport it is. It is massive.
No, it was obviously being Ronaldo, it has to be in there. I was going to make the joke of, and here is America reacting to the news of Ronaldo staying with Juventus.
Crickets. What is an epithet?
An epithet is a descriptive phrase that you would call a specific person.
So what did Tim Anderson say? Keep in mind, I am of the white pasty
skin tone. Pasty. I like to call it rose or peach. Specifically, I can't say exactly what Tim Anderson said, but from what I've read through ESPN sources, it was weak ass fucking. Tim Anderson hit a monster home run in like the third or fourth inning. Mm-hmm. He admired it. He flipped a bat. He watched it as it flew. And then the next time he was up, he got beamed in the hip or in the leg.
Well, I mean, dude, that's a big no-no too. But I mean, this also piggybacks right off of what happened last week with Derek Dietrich and Chris Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Dietrich hit the ball into McCovey Cove. Watched that shit sail out. Next time up, Archer threw at him, and then before we knew it, Puig was fighting all of the buccos.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool to watch. But I guess it depends on where do you fall in the line of the unwritten rules of baseball. You have the historians, the old white guys who want the game to be played the exact way that it was played back in the 1920s, and then you have an entire new breed of player that are coming in. It's not the same game that it used to be. So it just depends on where you fall on that line of what's allowed and what's not allowed. Personally, I say be better.
Don't have your ball hit 400 feet, and then you don't have to watch the guy in the box look at it.
Guess what, Brad Keller? I'm going to tag you in this, and I hope you're watching. You're a bitch.
Kyle Hendricks broke the wild pitch streak. He had 378 innings. He threw 6,662 pitches in a row.
I find that
without throwing a wild pitch.
It's one of those records that you wouldn't never think about, but we were setting this up earlier today, and he's like, a record got broke today for the longest streak of never throwing a wild pitch. And I was like, really? And it's just like, you look at it, it's like, damn, that's impressive. It was over 6,600 and something pitches that he's thrown since his last wild pitch.
It's a lot.
That's insane.
He's a pretty good pitcher.
Kyle Hendricks not bad, but he plays for the Cubs, so he can go below me.
Thank you, Tony Reale. Stat boy.
Yeah. 62.
62?
62, Jordan
Yeah. It's the Warriors, and that's about it. It's a shame that's what it's come to. It's a shame that's what Adam Silver's let happen to the league. I think all this super team and playing with your friends has ruined the game, and I think they need to put a stop to it. That's my opinion.
Nah.
If you disagree, fuck you. That's my opinion.
Nah.
If you disagree, fuck you. Fuck the Raiders, change your name, and then come to Vegas.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be called up to the big leagues here on Friday.
Oh, dude. I would say he's probably one of the most exciting prospect call-ups in.
Since Bryce.
There was a tie game. The clock's running down. Could Damian Lillard possibly have gotten a better shot? Yeah, he probably could have, but I'm sure he practices that shot.
Even at that point with 2.8 left, there's really not much more he could have done. They didn't get into pick and roll. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't set up. They set it up.
They let him ISO, and he pulled. Just to give you a little breakdown, the Knights were up 3-0 with about 10:30 left in the third period. They're up 3-0.
Dominating the entire game.
You're
100%.
at 3-0 in the third, halfway through the third in hockey. The game's over, dude.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But the thing is, every single person was like, oh, well, we might make it to the finals. We might do this. We might do that. But what happened was Cody Eakin was facing off against Joe Pileski in the...
It's a face-off.
Yep, a face-off in the Knights on the Knights side of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
The Sharks won the face-off. Eakin gives a slight cross-check to Pavelski,
which is something that happens on every face-off practically.
50, literally on about 50% of the face-offs, there's a slight cross-check from the loser. It's just what it is.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Now, what happened from there is where it gets a little froggy.
Paul Stastny.
Pavelski was falling and was going to the ground, and Stastny's...
He stumbled. He practically
and he was going to go to the ground, and Stasny was coming to
He was
block,
coming to get out
to
on the
block-
puck.
on the puck to block the shot.
Yep.
Now, Eakin's check bounced Pavelski into Stasny.
And Stastny knocked him over.
Stasny knocked him over, and his head, Pavelski's head, bounced off the ice,
And let me say,
causing some serious bleeding. Like you were
yeah,
concerned.
no.
for
Let
him.
me say this too. Before, obviously, I'm going to go on a rant, and we're both upset about this whole thing. But I do want to make mention because, granted, we joke around. I call a lot of people assholes, and we have the piece of shit of the day and whatnot. And we like the hot takes. And we like to have fun with it, but
We're never wanting somebody hurt.
yeah, no,
We're
nobody
not ever
wants to
rooting
see that.
for somebody to get hurt.
We're
period.
not saying by any means the referee's fuckery yesterday, and we're hating on Pavelski. Like you don't want to see that. Obviously, he was legitimately hurt. You saw the blood on the ice. It looked bad. It seems
He
bad.
wasn't
Hopefully,
moving, yeah.
everything is okay and he comes out of it fine and there's no problems. We're wishing all the best to Pavelski and a quick recovery to whatever happened.
Where it turned is about 5 seconds after his head hit the ground.
It was once the fucking referees realized that he was bleeding.
And no penalty had been called.
That's the problem.
No
That's
penalty was called
that's
upon the
problem.
faceoff. 5 seconds later, they noticed he was hurt. They stopped play. And then without any type of review,
Apparently, according to what I've read today, it came down from Toronto. The head officiating office came down.
they issued a 5-minute major.
For something they had no idea about.
Now, if you don't, you didn't see. They didn't see it.
No.
Now, if you don't know, a 5-minute. All right, so in hockey, there's different levels of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, what you see a regular penalty is a 2-minute releasable penalty, where if the team scores a goal, the penalty is released. You're back to full strength. Now, in this situation,
But in a major penalty, that's not what happens.
With a major, Cody Eakin goes to the box for 5 minutes, and actually ends up getting
He got ejected.
tossed. And the power play is not releasable
You are on the power play for 5
for
minutes.
5 whole minutes. So regardless of the fact that the Sharks scored 7 seconds into the power play, that penalty is not released. So we're playing man down for another 4 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yep.
49 seconds later, they scored the second one.
It was like
And
240 or something.
And then a minute and a half later, they scored the third one. And then a minute after that, they scored the fourth one.
Yep.
In about 4 minutes and 8 seconds of game time, the score went from 3-0 Knights to 4-3.
It's still upsetting because it's still
Sharks.
such absolute trash. I will say this: the entire narrative of this would be different if that referee, I don't know how the judges, what their names are in hockey, but if that back judge, the one that sits behind I'm guessing like a line judge or something, the face-off, if his arm fucking goes up right when the cross-check happens, so there's a penalty on the play, I probably don't say a word. I probably do not say a word. It's the fact that the referees, there was no call on the ice because they watched the fucking face-off, so they obviously seen the little cross-check that always happens. But once Pavelski went down and he laid there because he was legitimately injured and he was bleeding, they made an assumption that something bad must have happened, and they called a 5-minute major without having any actual knowledge of the situation.
Yeah, and I think that
like Westbrook, but I mean, I say all the time that he's an asshole, and you did it again. But
I'm the biggest piece of shit today.
But the media's job is to go into the press conference room and ask questions, whether you like them or not as an athlete. That's their job. And they asked legitimate questions to Russell Westbrook the other day, and he kept saying
He didn't like it.
no comment, no comment, no comment. That's just a piece of shit move. Answer the fucking question, dude. Stop being a bitch.
The beast mode run that caused an earthquake.
Yeah.
This is the most amazing
It's
run.
like Darren Sharp, hold my dick. It was the Infinity War scene when Thanos is in the Soul Stone and he's talking to little Gamora and she asked him, what did it cost? And he says, everything, right? And it was a meme of Russell Westbrook and little Gamora, and she said, did you get the triple-double? And he goes, yes. At what cost? Losing the series. Fucking cracked me up. Because that's what he does, though. He worries about his own fucking stats instead of the team. So, yeah, no. Damian Lillard, definitely above him. I'd put Damian Lillard in the top 3. I would go Kyrie, Steph, Damian.
There you go.
That's me. Yes. At what cost? Losing the series. Fucking cracked me up. Because that's what he does, though. He worries about his own fucking stats instead of the team. So, yeah, no. Damian Lillard, definitely above him. I'd put Damian Lillard in the top 3. I would go Kyrie, Steph, Damian.
There you go.
That's me. by far.
I still think today, maybe not long term, but today you got to put Steph ahead of Kyrie. But I'm on.
Oh, I was just saying those are top three. I
Okay.
wasn't
Gotcha.
numerically
Gotcha.
putting them.
We're not going to argue that now. We'll
Yeah.
save that for another day.
Exactly.
The Warriors. Nobody here's surprised they're up 2-0 at all. No one's surprised.
No.
No one's surprised.
Mm,
What do you want to say about James Harden though? Is what I want to know. That's
if you watch the show,
when you gave me the notes earlier, you were like blah blah blah. James Harden, this that. I was like, I don't even care.
Did it not make sense?
No,
I can
it does.
look at
It made sense, but I was just like, I am very curious to just hear what you have to say. I don't even want to do my own.
My text to you was, and I was giving headlines earlier today, and I said Harden can't see but puts up best game of the playoffs.
Please elaborate for us, please.
So if you guys have watched anything about the Warriors Rockets series, the Rockets bitched and complained about game one, about the officiating, and that was kind of ridiculous because the officiating was pretty terrible on both ends of that game. It was not specific towards the Rockets at all.
The report came out there were like 81 missed calls, and it essentially cost the Rockets 16 points. But the officials had to take a stand, dude. They had to not let him act a fool on national television, cry for everything.
No, that was Chris Paul was the one crying about everything, and Harden too. They both cry about everything. And the stat that I found out the other day is that through the last 5 NBA championship playoffs, the Warriors have been the leader in fouls received in 4 of those 5 years. They've gotten more fouls called on them in the last and throughout the playoffs.
Average per game.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if they play more playoff games than everybody else.
Yeah,
so the number is higher, but the average per game
is higher
the
too.
highest.
I mean, Steph had 5 fouls in game 1,
and he should have fouled out 2 times.
So it's like you're complaining about fouls, and it's like they're calling the fucking fouls.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, it was a terribly officiated game, but so the Rockets were bitching about game 1 and lost. Then the Rockets came back in game 2. Early on in the game, I believe it was Draymond hit Harden in the face, and he has contusions, which is a fancy medical term for bruise.
Bone bruise.
In his eyes. I guess he got tested. He got tested.
Just ricochet, like rocked his eyeballs off his skull or something like that.
I guess so. If you've seen the pictures, it looked like James Harden had been eating wholesale ass for like all night. I mean, it is #ass eating season after all, but
oh god.
I mean, if you ever seen the movie Knocked Up, when they all answer the door and they all have pink eye?
Clellan Ferrell.
I think that was a terrible, terrible, terrible move. You heard all week from all the different talk shows and radio hosts that Gruden had said and Mayock had said that there was going to be a big surprise at 4, right? Well, there was a big surprise at 4. They took out of all the fucking defensive linemen that were available in this draft. That was your first pick. He was the worst of the 3 main ones from Clemson. It makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. Somebody please hire me as a GM.
I'm going to try to make some sense of it for you.
I will win championships for you. I play Madden franchise all the time. We do fantasy drafts. I'm fucking great at it.
It's not the same.
Oh, it's so the
Just
same.
put that on your resume and send it in.
I do fantasy drafts. Madden fantasy drafts all the time.
And I'm like dope at it.
Super dope. My teams go like 14-2.
Clellan Ferrell is your prototypical edge 10 sack a guy year. Like 10 sacks a year guy.
I don't think he's going to be that guy.
He was easily the most disruptive. And you're a guy that looks at numbers a lot. He had the best numbers of all those linemen. He had the most sacks. He had the most tackles for loss. He had all of it.
I'm a big numbers guy, but I'm also an intangibles guy.
Also,
especially when it comes to football.
When you look at a guy like Josh Allen, in comparison, he's a little bit more undersized, has to play a little bit more off ball. This guy is
what a good prospect is.
Too many people are stuck in their ways. They just think it can be this way when,
Yeah. I don't know. What were some of your surprises? What are some good ones that you had? Those were 2 bad ones. Good one for me because hopefully the Packers fucking are bottom barrel shit for the next 35 years because they've had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers back to back, so they deserve to be bottom barrel trash for a long time.
One of the the biggest thing leading up here was like, what were the Giants going to do at 6, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yes.
But that kind of dictated what surprised me.
Was it Washington?
Which was a culmination of the whole Dwayne Haskins scenario kind of surprised me, in a sense that the Dolphins passed on him and traded for Rosen and essentially got the number 1 quarterback in this year's class for a 2nd-round pick.
Power somebody, it's Shaq every time.
I'll say not even close, greatest drop stepper of all time.
Yes, 100%.
That's
so wide. He
power
just turns a
dribble,
house,
turn, done.
Sorry, Chris Dudley.
Yeah, major league problem.
Watch this now, Bob. Watch the power. He just overpowers him, and he comes down, and then he shoves him right there. Shaquille O'Neal was so powerful on that move that Dudley could not even foul him.
Jimmy! I was like, come on, Jim, come give the kids an autograph. And he just fucking stand. I'm like, you're not even fucking playing, asshole. You're just standing on the sidelines. And the game's not even going on. Oh, yeah.
The Warriors can lose, Dan.
They're not gonna. I mean, I will sit here and I will bite my tongue if for some fucking magical reason the Rockets win. I just don't see it happening.
But turning the Browns into the new Patriots.
The Browns need to figure out how to be the Ravens first.
While we talk about that, we'll plug this real quick. We've talked about doing our Dynasty rookie draft as a special edition episode. We've talked about it. We're going to try to put it into play here, and I think that'd be kind of cool to do.
Don't compare yourself to the Patriots if you're not willing to take the pay cut to bring in the dudes necessary to be fucking great, like Tom Brady has done year after year. That's how you know that man truly cares about winning championships and being a team fucking.
Dak $30 million a year.
And then this is
the Cowboys right now are in that perfect Super Bowl window.
No, they're in that window.
They're in the window.
They're in the window.
But they're going to blow it.
And I'm hoping to God that the Bears don't blow it because I think Trubisky is going to be a very good quarterback. I'm not going to put him in the upper echelon, but I think he's going to be a very good quarterback.
Give him 110, not 150.
Dak $30 million a year.
And then this is
the Cowboys right now are in that perfect Super Bowl
window.
No,
they're in that window.
They're in the window.
They're in the window.
But they're going to blow it.
And I'm hoping to God that the Bears don't blow it because I think Trubisky is going to be a very good quarterback. I'm not going to put him in the upper echelon, but I think he's going to be a very good quarterback.
Give him 110, not 150.
That's what I'm saying. I really hope. And Mitch seems like a great fucking guy. He seems like a team guy, and I think Nagy's running the team well. So I hope that when that day comes, he's going to be like, yeah, give me fucking $17 million a year, $19 million a year.
Tell me that Tom Brady's got a 2-year 36 and Dak's going to sign a 4-year 80, excuse me, 4-year 120. So that'd be the equivalent of a 2-year 60 versus a 2-year 36. That's the equivalency. Think about that. Dak for. Well, they said it was a solo car accident, meaning he was driving and he crashed
himself.
Which begs the question:
was he not able to hold the?
Did the previous accident affect the next one?
Did not having some fingers affect his ability to drive?
My first word was ball,
So you're qualified to be on the show.
Yeah. Can we talk about that though? Like, can Xbox Live have like an adult version? So like, these kids can't keep reporting me.
I want to be the fly on the fucking wall when Adam Gase got the call saying, "Congrats, you've been promoted to GM." 6 months after being hired as a fucking head coach.
John Daly has ruled out the British Open unless he's allowed to ride in his cart.
Fucking goat.
Does it have like rims and?
It should.
No, but
they're not going to ever allow it because you have to walk the course. But my God,
no.
Does he drink during tournaments?
But it has a cup holder, and he is allowed to drive.
A cup holder
and smoke his cigarette at the same time.
Yeah, a cup holder and an ashtray.
Yeah,
John Daly. John Daly is a fucking, a hero to all of us normal golfers who like to go out and fucking drink in the cart and fucking shit on some balls that don't go down the fairway. He's a hero to all of us.
He did it professionally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
professional
It's
debauchery.
more about hitting the ball as hard as you can.
And he could hit it as hard as he wants, and it stayed straight for him.
Yeah.
So I guess the cause is an arthritic right knee, which causes him to walk with a limp. He's saying if he had to walk, he can only do like 4 to 9 holes.
It's a pimp limp.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Let the man sit in a cart. What are you gonna? Is that an advantage because he doesn't have to walk the course? He smokes cigarettes and drinks a fucking 12-pack. I think that's enough of a hindrance.
He drinks while he plays in the tournament.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's allowed to, but
that'd be
it
great.
wouldn't fucking surprise me.
What position are they projecting him at? 3 or 4?
I mean,
Zion,
Yeah,
in my personal opinion, he should play 3.
3.
see,
I don't know if that's what they're projecting him for, but I think he should play 3. I don't.
in today's NBA, he's more of a 4, but
He's gonna get the boards as a
here's
3.
the thing, dude.
Guard people who can shoot.
The NBA is positionless now.
Yeah.
He's
That's
gonna
true.
play some center
Yeah,
too.
he might play center too. Like
I mean-
you know, good comparison, but way better offense. Ben Wallace.
I mean,
Like,
I mean,
size
same
defense.
fucking size, but-
imposing
Yeah.
imposing size. Sure. Now, obviously, they're 2 totally different
Yeah.
skill sets,
Skill gap on
Yeah.
offense.
and defense for the other way too.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, let me hijack this whole fucking conversation because all this fucking
It's all up.
But the problem with Russell Westbrook, he doesn't have any pace.
can
He's-
shoot.
Like he's always a million miles an hour. Like
I think he's a really good coach, and I think it's going to be perfect. The relationship that he could, I think he could have that relationship with LeBron that the Lakers need. He could be a coach to him,
but not
he's
be
gonna
stepped
learn
over like Ty Lue.
Exactly.
Oh, did you see what I did there?
he got a lot of young good players. Odell and Jarvis are best friends. Like I think a lot of people don't take that into enough consideration that you got people who've been playing together since they were high school.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
And there's other guys there too. Nick Chubb had the highest. I know you're not a big fan.
I'm a fan. They should have just gave Sony Michel the ball more.
Okay. Nick Chubb had the high, like had the top pro football rated score for all rookie running backs last year, and
No,
he
he-
shitted on everybody.
No, he played good.
Pounded through both handles, both of them.
I was sipping on Captain and Cokes and then taking shots of tequila in between.
Playing pool, having a good time, and like I said,
That
turns
sounds
in-
like a blackout coming.
oh, it
The
was
Blackout Express is choo-chooing down the tracks
Did
right
you ever
now.
hear this story? Because that's actually what happened.
No, I haven't. But I've actually had my own variation.
Yeah.
it turns into a party because Alex had the party house, right? And it turns into a full blown rager, but Lolo didn't make it really to the rager part. Lolo and Snow as well. So Snow, sorry Ryan, but he passes out in the couch with his head in his lap, like that. And Lolo's laying on the couch. And what was the song that was popular at the time? That was what they got you to sing. That's what's on camera.
I think it was Closer by Halsey and the Chainsmokers.
He starts singing the
And
song
I'm
and
just in pain, like, baby, pull me closer.
he's fucking
And it was like,
puking
oh
into one of
my
the buckets
God.
that we had next to him.
It was bad. That's awesome. End of the story. We're trying to leave, and I don't have my phone on me, and I'm just like, I'm not leaving without my phone. I'm not leaving. I'm screaming this. So we got 10 people looking around this whole house for my phone to try to get me the fuck out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. It was in your pocket.
Nope, it was underneath one of the bean bags.
Okay.
They found it, gave it to me.
I was about to say, was it in your pocket? That's happened to me.
Yeah, and then Matty Bako put me on his shoulders and put me in my bed.
Yep.
And that was it.
And we kept partying. That was a solid
Oh, yeah,
rager.
that was probably at 11 o'clock. I passed out. You guys kept going.
Yeah, I was there till I passed out there that night. I'm pretty sure. Actually, Anto fell asleep that night while we were doing karaoke at like 2 a.m. And then Bohemian Rhapsody came on, and he magically arose from the dead and started singing with the rest of the group. Fucking hilarious.
I just don't understand how you can go through a whole process like so important to your franchise, like the NFL draft, and then fire the guy who is like one of your main guys.
Was spearheading that.
Yeah, he
you
did it.
Fire the guy after you just had the draft with him.
His ability because of LeBron being there, obviously. I'm more on the side of him probably going to the Clippers if he leaves Toronto. But
I would not mind that.
yeah.
By that same reasoning, though, he's a Cali boy, so I feel like he wants to be comfortable.
Want to be home.
He's gonna want to be comfortable and be back on the West Coast.
But
Like piecemealing that team together, right?
They traded,
Tobias Harris.
Tobias.
They traded Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
And they had to make up for losing DeAndre and Chris Paul.
Blake Griffin.
And Blake Griffin. So while you're getting assets back, how are those assets going to fit? And they did a good job of, in no time, flipping that team to being younger, a little bit better cap scenario, and they won 2 games against the Warriors.
yeah, and I think that would be really cool to bring Kawhi in. That's going to take him to the next level. And now imagine having that rivalry of Lakers versus Clippers in the same town. The Lakers versus the Clippers has never been a rivalry, at least to my knowledge,
They've
because
never
the Clippers
been
have
good
always been trash.
And when the Clippers were actually good, the Lakers were on
They weren't
they
good
were on
either.
the Kobe finale train and,
Yeah.
and decline and rebuild.
So
I mean, I respect it, but you're an 18, 19-year-old kid. You're from Georgia, and you want to go live in Japan for 6 years?
did almost blow up.
Give your girl a kiss, man. Videos.
And I gotta say too, for anybody out there that doesn't know of bluntness, it's definitely worth giving them, my boy Patterson the follow, just because, like he said, they do a lot of stuff in the community. Everything I see you post all the time, it's always positive. You're always trying to help out, and that's even besides the cannabis stuff. Like you're always trying to make a community a better place, and that's very important.
Yeah,
So
anybody that I know that's out here doing something in the community, I'm always trying to promote that because I understand what it's like to have people like myself behind you, and then spreading that message to the next person. And, if what you're doing is right and it's on point, then people are going to take hold of that. And, I only support people who I see taking hold. I'm not just out here, I see you doing something, man, I'm going to support you. I got to see that you're doing it the right way and really see that what you're doing is going somewhere. So when you get my approval, it should mean a lot. And hopefully the community takes note of that. And do your own research. That's what I'm about. I always see a bunch of different things, like shows with people talking about their opinions and facts. And, what I do is I take that into account and I do my research. And then from there, I can redistribute out that information and make sure it's done the right way.
It's funny, actually, Ryan, I didn't meet you through sports. I met you through Crypto Club at Rogage.
Oh man, I was like the king of crypto. You don't even.
And that
know.
wasn't crypto.
king of crypto.
It wasn't cryptocurrency either.
Yo,
He was the original
I was-
crypto. This tied up kind of perfectly. And we kind of want you to elaborate a little bit on this. With Chris Long retiring right now, it's come out that he's retired. So
Okay.
shout out to him. He had a great year. He's a
Amazing
very
career.
productive player for a
love
very
Chris
long time.
Long. Love Chris
We
Long.
love all the
And he
Longs.
stands for a lot more than just football. It's more than that. It's
out to
about the stuff that we talked about earlier.
Dude
Like,
donated his paycheck for an entire year.
right.
That's amazing.
I thought it was one game.
No, it was the entire year.
He is he's a cannabis advocate, and he believes that it should be destigmatized, all around, but specifically in the NFL as well. So how would that work specifically? What are the benefits of it? How can it help players if something that was looked at as this horrible thing actually be good for you, like good or beneficial?
Well,
can you elaborate please a little bit on that?
All right, so if you do your research into cannabis, there's a couple different things with the cannabinoids, like CBD. There's different parts of the plant that can help you out in recovery that don't even have to do anything with smoking. Some of these guys can be used in creams and different balms and stuff that can actually help the NFL create a better product. So when I think about what they're not doing and what they could be doing, they're essentially hurting their billion-dollar industry, which could be even a larger margin of, making money. Making revenue by, allowing players to use cannabis. Now, I would say because there are psychoactive properties inside of cannabis that can get you high and maybe take you off of your game, but, some players would say otherwise. I know I've played sports on cannabis, and I've done better than if I maybe would have done sober. So it's just all about how you feel and how you can handle the plant itself. But as far as as the NFL goes, why would you not allow players to use something that's going to better help them recover? It's not going to give them any advantages per se, right?
Or serious long-term effects either, if it's a bomb or
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't like you're smoking a blunt,
or
going to the gym, and
some of
putting
these
on
guys
extra
could
10
be
pounds of
smoking.
muscle.
Let's say some of these guys are smoking blunts, regardless.
they
if
definitely
they're
are.
not.
50% probably.
But back to, if they can use something in a way, like I said, if they were to use like some of these CBDs and THC creams on these players, and it gave them better recovery, and then it created a better product because less players were hurt on the field, and every player was always there every week,
So less
just like on
injuries.
Madden. Like, let's just say if you had the cannabis usage, I'm not saying it would be no injuries, but let's just say you had cannabis usage, and it's almost like the injuries are off, or they're coming back a lot better. Let's just say the quality of the play is better throughout the end of the season because guys are better
They're
repaired,
healthier.
they're healthier, and then week 13, 14, 15, 16, you're not seeing a drop off. You're seeing guys elevating their play and continuing to play at a high level.
Yep,
So
I'm going there.
I believe that, allowing players to do it would be a good, like, do it a small sample size and see how it affects players moving forward. And I think that would be your best way to know, like, okay, is this...
And see, I would attest right to that specifically, just because after my career ended, from baseball, I played football through high school, but I have a bunch. I'm sure everybody in this room can probably attest to themselves how many just nagging injuries we all have.
Yeah. Just
from different things that you heard throughout your years of playing sports.
Bro, we were playing twos yesterday, and my knee is killing me today.
Right?
Like,
but
killing me.
There was this point in time about, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, and I was just intense back pain. They would shoot from my back all the way through my ribs, and I could not. I almost went to the hospital one time because it hurt so damn bad. I didn't know what was wrong with me.
And what did they give you? Opiates?
No, which is
I'm gonna go there.
Go hit that right now, and I'll come back to it.
Okay. Well, no, I mean the thing with, you can finish your story, dude.
It's true though. If I would have gone to the hospital, that's exactly what they would have done. They probably would have gave me some type of painkiller.
What'd you do? You use CBD?
Yeah. So what I ended up doing was, I've been hearing a lot of, and this is actually right when your first show came out, the smoke break. So I was always curious into CBDs because in college we all dabbled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you never really cared about the medical properties of it. And I firmly believe that, the cannabis use through my college years are the reason that I probably didn't know about injuries that I had sustained.
Right.
Right. So I looked into, CBDs and whatnot, and I found a cream.
Okay.
Like you said, it was a topical cream, and I started putting it on my back, and I think it was some type of nerve pain that I was having. I used it every morning, every night for probably about 6 weeks, because I'd still get the pain every now and again. And if I got the pain, I'd put it on and it would go away. Haven't had the pain since.
Because you know what it does? It gets in there. It helps with inflammation.
What
else?
Blood flow. It's gonna freaking do a bunch of there's so many CBDs, or what are they? Cannabinoids.
It helps anxiety. It helps insomnia.
If you need appetite, you need to eat. CBD is the way to go. You have headaches, migraines, and then CBD is the stuff that's going to actually help change your cancer cells and stuff. So if you want to, when people think about weed and cancer, you need the CBDs, along with THC to beat cancer, but just to be suppressed, you'll just take your CBDs. But if you want to actually fight the cancer, you need Rick Simpson oil, which is like CBDs and THC and concentrated values and stuff like that.
And since
the CBD doesn't get you high.
No psychoactive
but
stuff.
I want to say this. Be careful, guys. There's so many new CBD companies. You can get CBD at Walmart. You can get CBD at
I saw it at the gym today.
I'll only get it from an actual dispensary.
I would only get CBD from a dispensary. And that's just me personally. But I already know there's a big market, because if 7-Eleven is selling CBD at the counter when you check out, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So just know that all CBD products aren't safe. If you are buying a CBD product, make sure it has a scan code on it that allows you to look up the test results on that batch of CBD. Other than that, you guys do your own research.
I would 100% agree. That's the only place that I will, because ever since then, I've got honeys, I have creams, and I keep one on me at all times just in case.
Now,
if I have pain, I throw it on.
Now, backing up just a little bit, how it pertains to the NFL.
Okay.
And while we're looking at something that really gives these players a relief, it's not allowed, right? And if we're looking at the alternatives, what are these players using for?
But why is it not allowed?
Right, well,
NFL is not a federal league. Do you get what I'm saying? So why would the NFL even at any point consider that cannabis is not a good thing for them to use?
I think that it's probably just because it's a old school mentality. We know that. This is not breaking news. We know that these guys are old school, stuck in their way type guys, right? But all they're doing, they're pumping these dudes with painkillers, it's so bad for you in comparison to the alternative, which is CBD, right? It's a no-brainer that they should be basically outlawing it, but you can't outlaw it because it is a pharmaceutical drug, right?
I'm not bad to cut you off.
No,
I just
fine.
feel like the only time opioids should be in use is after major constructive surgeries.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've had constructive surgeries.
I've had a couple.
And those shits need fucking painkillers.
Yeah.
Opioids. I don't know if I've never had any strong cannabis, stuff used, but I could just almost think that ain't gonna cut it.
No.
So like, I ain't saying there ain't no place for opioids to be taken. There is a time and place, but to be giving guys opioids throughout the season to get through injuries and fight through this and get through this, there's definitely an alternative for game time injuries, like stuff that you
Like
can help get
the nicks
through.
and bruises and
Stuff that can get you through.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily you just what you say is correct. You do a ACL surgery or you tear your UCL, whatever it may be. You're going to need a stronger painkiller than whatever CBD might be able to offer you.
Right.
What the problem that ends up happening
Until
is
we get that science.
true. They do need to research CBDs even more.
Right.
But until that happens, what they do is it's the naggingness. Yeah. It's the you can't use the CBDs, you can't use the marijuana. I know you said the NFL is not federal, but what ended up happening is a lot of the teams are in states where it's not federally legal.
Well, and the thing is too,
that's the problem they run
CBD is
into.
actually allowed in the NFL, but it's the THC that is what fails on drug tests. But the issue is like separating the two. Like not everybody has the same access.
I think they should be able to
They
have
need to
certain levels.
They need to coexist. Like
You guys are a $1 billion industry. Allow them to smoke cannabis, and you drug test them every game, and you allow them up to a certain level. So it's like, hey, we don't want you smoking like hella weed before game day. So it's like set that shit at a certain level where they can test their blood level.
Because even if it
or
stays in
their
your
P
system
level.
for months, after a 7-day window, the nanograms are way down. Right. So like after even after like the 3-day window, like you can tell if somebody hasn't smoked in 3 days. Like you can tell.
So I think they can
based on the
do
results.
day before drug tests.
It's so
where
specific.
It's like,
The testing is so
and if
good
you-
right now,
if you-
anyways, that they should be able to. They know the
and
difference.
just fine
they know
them.
what's up.
Don't suspend them. Just fine them. How can the NFL be kicking some of their best players in the league off of the field
For medicating?
for a product, for something that they need to help their body?
And they know it helps them.
And they know
because
it.
they feel it. That's why they keep doing it. Trust me, there ain't no guy in the NFL right now that's using CBDs or THC, just using cannabis in general, just because they're trying to get fucking stoned. Okay. I guarantee you, most of them are using it because it helps them in some way, shape, or form.
There's definitely some that are out there blowing blunts.
This
dude.
is
Like,
my
it's
argument.
Like, but
regardless if you blow it in a blunt or not, this is always my argument. 1,000%, Tile. I don't give a damn. Cannabis, whether you smoke it medically or recreationally, it's still giving you medical properties and it's still helping you in a positive way. Whether you're smoking it through a blunt, whatever you're doing, it's still going to give you that medical property you intended to smoke it for. Whether I wanted to go to the doctor to get a prescription to be on papers for cannabis, or whether I just wanted to be able to go pick it up without having to go through all the hassle, I still need it for a medical reason. And I think that's what's getting misconstrued in this whole entire thing is like, oh, I need it for medical because I'm a patient and da. Like, who gives a fuck? We all need the shit. It's just a matter of you're on papers about it and I don't want to be on papers about it. I still smoke cannabis because it gives me medical relief. That's why when I hear some people, oh, I'm going to stop smoking at this time. Like, no, realistically, you're just being fake about it because you just want to get high. I smoke cannabis because it gives me relief from different symptoms, and I'm gonna forever want to have that relief. So if I
different
stop
strains
smoking
and
blunts,
different terpenes do different things for you too. So if you're
There's a lot of research that we haven't been done.
knowledgeable about what you're getting and what it's doing for you, it can really benefit you.
Right.
Really,
That's another
benefit you.
problem, man, is that we just, throughout the years, it's been so illegal. It's a class 1 scheduled drug, I believe. Is that how they classify it in the federal government?
It's a weed.
It's up there with heroin and cocaine, and it's classified exactly the same. It's just there's not nearly enough research as there should be on it, and that's really what we need. We need more research, legitimate research done by actual scientists and doctors to really show.
But we have, though.
We have a little bit. I agree with what you're saying. We have more than enough to show that there is definitely medical properties to it. But I think that it goes even beyond that we don't even know about yet.
Imagine this, just a crazy thought. Imagine if people weren't using opioids on a heavy way they've been using them over the years in the NFL. And let's just think about, we can't see what's going to contribute to a guy retiring early. But imagine if some of these guys were getting treated with cannabis and some guys who had early careers who, if we could have possibly seen a 10-year career, 15-year career from guys who, you know what I'm saying, weren't able to because they were on too many opioids and it started to affect their bodies in ways they didn't understand, and then they had to retire. I'm just saying.
It's a good point.
NFL, you guys are probably losing out on money. Allow these players to smoke and use CBD.
All right, moving on. I'm actually really excited about this. So
I love when this happens because I like
What's
taking.
this?
I love when things happen and like I don't know what's going on because it's
It's
we're gonna get something like actually like
this.
I don't know what's going on. So like, let's see what
legitimate
happens.
reaction right now. So there was when we were going over what we were going to go over today's segment for NFL. There was something that I remembered that I wanted to bring up on the podcast, but I didn't tell anybody. It's on this piece of paper. I'm the only one in the room that knows about it. So we're gonna get honest, genuine reactions. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys some stats right now, and then I want to hear you guys' opinions.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Here we go.
This is a trap too. I already know.
You're damn right it is. Okay.
Fuck you.
Person number one. They were. Okay,
Are we
I'll
guessing who the person
No,
is?
no. You're just. I'll
Who are
get
you
there.
picking?
Okay. 2 quarterbacks. Record 98, 62, and 1. Completion percentage at 59%. Threw for 37,276 yards, 234 touchdowns to 117 interceptions. Quarterback grade of 85.6. Had 24 game-winning drives and ran for 3,459 yards and 20 TDs.
I know who that is.
In the playoffs, he was 9-7, threw for 3,700 yards at a 59% clip again, threw 24 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, went to 6 Pro Bowls. The other man, he was 94 and 71 all time, also went to 6 Pro Bowls, 32,924 yards passing, 61 completion percent rate. Threw 165 touchdowns to 141 interceptions, had 20 game-winning drives. It looks like I wrote down 20. And in the playoffs, he was 11-4, had 1 game-winning drive, threw for 3,800 yards at a 63% clip, and had 23 touchdowns and 17 touchdowns. Overall rushing in his career was 17 interceptions. In his rushing career, he ran for 1,000 yards and 9 TDs. One of these guys is in the Hall of Fame. Who do you think it is? Guy 1 or guy 2?
It has to be guy 1.
You already know who it is.
I can tell who it is.
It has to be guy 1, and I believe it's Brett Favre.
Wrong.
Oh, well.
Anything?
Double the yards.
I have no clue who that is.
Okay, so here comes the extra stat. Guy 2 has 3 Super Bowl rings.
Damn.
Guy 1 has 0. JD knows who it is.
Troy Aikman for sure.
Troy Aikman's number 2.
Troy Aikman for sure.
So the reason I say this is because Donovan McNabb, he's guy 1, came out and said that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because a guy like Troy Aikman's in there and he had a better career than Troy Aikman.
Can I see the stats? I got to.
It'll be part tough to read.
I heard.
Hey, I actually like this conversation a lot because I like both of those guys.
Who's on the
a
front?
lot.
Yeah, exactly. He's a Syracuse
both
guy.
Both of those guys are big guys for me. And as
Where
much
does
as
it
I
say guy
hated
one, guy two?
Donovan McNabb,
Oh,
I would have loved him so much more if he'd gone to any other team.
Well, see,
You know?
and that's the thing that I have on there
Sucks, dude.
is since he's come out with that, since he said what he said,
4 NFC.
four NFC title appearances, 3 losses, 1 win. Then he lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots, obviously.
All right,
Go ahead.
Sorry, can we? Because he was coached by a guy who we've known also to have been a choker, can we equate like his career of not winning a Super Bowl
To being tied to Andy Reid?
Yes.
Sure.
I think you can. I'm just saying he's been getting a lot of flack for that statement. Like Michael Irvin just came out and said that Donovan McNabb was a good quarterback, but he wasn't better
You know
than Troy
how
Aikman.
Cowboy Nation is.
Well,
Come
that's
on.
the
The
truth.
Cowboys run. Look at. All right, you don't know this. Fuck. Sorry
I might
about
not
the
even have
Cowboys.
to talk about this.
The Cowboys, if
This
you
is
don't
great.
know,
This is going great.
if you don't know, the Cowboys are like low key the fraternity of the NFL. If you play for their freaking team and you ball out, or
You're
do
one of them.
You become part of ESPN Network. You get a job at ESPN, or you get a job at the NFL Network.
DeMarco, Jason
You
Witten.
can Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin.
I know.
Anybody who's ever put on a uniform for those bums.
Daryl Johnston,
Tony Romo. Come on, dude. Jason Witten retired and came back. Like anybody, if you notice, I just paid attention. Anybody for Dallas that was any good or made Hall of Fame or you won a Super Bowl with them, now you're in the showbiz. So it just goes to show like they're a homer team. And if anything some of those guys say is against somebody else who's not as popular as somebody who won a Super Bowl, he's going to catch flack for it. So I understand what he's saying. But Donovan McNabb does need to understand that he did not win any Super Bowls. So at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, you still shouldn't have been a first ballot. You deserve to be in there, I feel. But at the same time, I don't feel like you should be running your mouth so quick. Like you're probably still going to get in, but don't mess it up by talking bad against guys who can actually keep you out.
Yeah, that's true. That's
what I'm
point.
saying. Like you don't piss those guys off when they basically run the shit.
I
Now
think
you're gonna have Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, all those the rest of their
Right.
fraternity brothers all
Like-
pitted against them, and don't they all vote?
And the Steelers too. The Steelers kind of have.
Is it the current inductees that like the people that are in vote for the Hall of Fame, or is it writers in football?
it's the writers.
I think you actually once you get in, I believe they do get a vote.
It's the media, I think.
No?
That's the Heisman. Once you win the Heisman.
Oh, Heisman. Okay, one of those they get a vote.
Well, either way, they're in the media anyway, so it's...
That was comparable stats. The only thing that I saw that was really different was in the playoff time, the second guy played better. In the crunch time. You named better stats.
Not necessarily. The overall record is better. The overall record is much better, obviously.
To win Super Bowls, you got to have a good record.
Technically, Troy Aikman was 23 touchdowns to 17 touchdowns, while Donovan McNabb was 24 touchdowns to 17 touchdowns. They threw for both of them threw for about 3,800 yards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They did about the same statistical numbers, but Donovan McNabb had a much greener light to throw and didn't have to hand it off to Emmitt Smith 25 times a game also.
I feel like you almost say like that's a bad thing.
I mean, his numbers should be better.
He had to give it off to Emmitt Smith.
Didn't Donovan McNabb have a good running back? Didn't he have Deuce Staley? What? Whoa, don't say Deuce Staley like Deuce Staley wasn't good.
Okay. They threw to Brian Westbrook also, bro.
And they had Brian Westbrook during his tenure.
And who were the two receivers that were leading the team in receptions? Can anybody tell me?
And Freddie Mitchell.
Greg Harrison.
Right and wrong. No,
Todd Pinkston, Freddie Mitchell.
Todd Pinkston's right. Freddie Mitchell's wrong.
Freddie Mitchell out there. T.O.
T.O. was the last year. The first 3 NFC Championship losses, T.O. wasn't there.
But they were good. But they were good with those guys that they had. They had Frank Wycheck.
James Thrash was the other one.
No, that was the Titans who had Frank Wycheck. They had, what's the other white Titan?
I'm saying based off the statistics from that year, he had more receptions.
Freddie Mitchell was more prominent in Donovan McNabb's career than James Thrash was.
I'm just going to ask you a question. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, do you want to throw to Todd Pinkston, James Thrash, Brian Westbrook, or Deuce Staley, or would you rather have Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin?
You forgot to name T.O.
T.O. was only there for the 1 year.
T.O.'s better than Michael Irvin.
Facts.
I'd agree with that, but he was only there for 1 year. And he played in the Super Bowl with a broken fucking leg.
He still played like Superman.
Sorry, cut it.
Huh?
He didn't play in any of those playoff games before the Super Bowl either.
Yeah, he didn't.
So
this is cut.
I mean,
doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. T.O. was there for 1 year, an actual fucking top 5. I would go probably number 2 ever, in my own opinion.
Receiver
of all time behind Jerry Rice.
How many years did he play in Philly?
T.O.? I think was it 1 or 2? Did he play the next year in 05?
He got suspended for the season the next year.
Okay.
And then he went to Dallas.
He was talking shit about McNabb being fat and out of shape. That's why he lost the Super Bowl.
The 1 year that he was there, they actually got to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, did he have the weapons to succeed?
McNabb couldn't get it done.
Did he have
did
weapons?
Troy Aikman play?
Todd Pinkston?
How many years did Troy Aikman play after it was kind of like a wrap?
LJ Smith, bro.
Like, how many years did Troy Aikman stay in
the league
after it was, like, over for him?
Well, they won a Super Bowl in 96, and then he got punched out in 99 with the concussion. 2000.
How many years was he in the league?
89, so 11 years.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 years.
Oh, he played 11 years.
McNabb played 13.
Yeah, he had a better career.
Aikman had a deeper career, man.
You guys are saying, I mean, the things that you guys are saying, like you're comparing Hall of Famers to not even close to. Deuce Staley, great running back for his time. Would he have 2 or 3 or 4 good years, really?
But as a running back, that's average. That's what
Emmitt Smith is. Some people would probably argue is the greatest running back of all time statistically.
If you argue that Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back of all time, you're not You're not watching.
All those great athletes at running back. You're going to say Emmitt Smith is the best?
No one's saying
I'm not saying it here.
No one
I'm
here
not saying
that.
it.
I'm saying what I said is
you can't argue that.
No, what I said that if you think that Emmitt Smith is the best running back of all time, that
argue that
you're not watching these running backs run. You're just looking at numbers.
Yeah, that's why I say some people would argue the statistics behind it.
Come on, bro.
Personally, I don't think Emmitt Smith is even close.
I want to say Emmitt Smith's the best running back of all time, but he's not, so...
You know what's crazy is like that's always going to be like the dividing point in sports.
And Kareem,
like
Kareem
what
has the most
happened on
Kareem
film
has the most
and what
points.
actually was the numbers behind what you did. There's a difference. Like a million times you can watch somebody's highlight and this guy has better highlights, but he could have like 1,000 less yards, and this guy over here, he was all state and ran for 3,000 yards, but he don't have no highlights. What he did on tape was average, and it was mediocre. So we're always going to have this debate about who was actually really great. Like Allen Iverson, amazing, one of the best ever all time, but he doesn't have any of the numbers to go against any of the greats in any real statistical category because he didn't play long enough. He wasn't there. But at the same time, you're like, dude, if this motherfucker would have played with a couple years or they let him do whatever he was supposed to do, it would have been a different story. So it's always that line in between sports where you're going to say, damn, this guy was amazing, but his numbers never matched up. And that's where we sit with this whole entire thing is like,
Well, for football, it always comes down to Super Bowl, or at least quarterbacks. It always comes down to Super Bowl
Bowls.
rings.
Right. So how many does Troy Aikman have?
He's got 3.
All right.
McNabb's got 0.
Zero. So I mean,
Well,
I
that's
think
where
that the discussion really has to end there in this specific.
the discussion
one versus
between
two.
1 versus 2, yes, but
Like, that's it. Like,
should
in
Super
this-
Bowl rings mean that much as much? Should
For
Super Bowl rings
quarterback?
means as much as they do?
For quarterback, yeah.
Nah, but because you know why?
Are you trying to say that you're a Cowboys
Whoa,
fan?
whoa.
Hang on,
Don't tell me what I'm trying to say though.
No, I'm not telling you. You're a Cowboys fan. Are you trying to say that the Cowboys during the early '90s and the '96, just the '90s in general, didn't have one of the top 3 defenses the entire time?
They work together, man.
They had Deion Sanders, bro.
Dude, there's just so many quarterbacks out there that have rings
Not
where
for
it's
the
like,
first one.
there's no way this fucking guy should have a ring. If he didn't get
Okay, but yeah, like
should Trent
Nick
Dilfer
Foles.
have a fucking
no,
ring?
Trent Dilfer shouldn't, but Troy Aikman has 3. So what?
Yeah, and he was-
Troy Aikman shouldn't have any because
Emmett
his defense
Smith,
was good, dude.
Michael
Come on.
Irvin.
What are you even doing?
Weapons
how we
upon
got-
weapons
why are you
and
doing
defense.
But listen, before you guys
Why?
get too lost in this argument, the
don't-
reason
I
how
don't
we
even
got
wanna talk
here
about it anymore.
is because what we're trying to say is, should we use Super Bowls to compare quarterbacks? And it's like, yes, we can, and no, you can't, because at the same time, you have to account for the defense to do their job, because we've seen great quarterbacks do everything in their power, sling the shit out that ball, and they still didn't win one. And that's not based on the quarterback not being great, not a great leader. You cannot sit here and tell me in my face that Dan Marino was not a great leader. You
Dan
can't
Marino's
tell
a
me
great
he didn't have one of the greatest arms of all time. So let's not. We have to sit here and take everything into account, and that's each individual person in the discussion being mindful of the fact that, you know what, hey, you know, things happen, but I think our egos get in the way, and we're so bought into liking guys and liking teams that we get biased and we start throwing our ego around instead of like, what actually happened? Was there chances where, this guy had a chance to win a Super Bowl and he fucked it up and he stunk it up? Or was it, damn, he just never had an opportunity because his team sucked?
McNabb was more of the latter.
Did Dan
dude.
Marino ever have a chance where
I would say
he was
that
driving the
that's
ball
correct.
and his team had a chance to win the game when they had that undefeated, or not? He wasn't on the undefeated team,
That was
but
the 70s.
during his entire
72.
career, where there are times, I'm not a big Dan Marino guy, but he's always the big guy to come to name when you're like, who didn't win a Super Bowl quarterback?
Marino's probably number 1.
Are there defining moments in Marino's career where Marino fucked it off?
I would probably go to Jay because he's probably the bigger quarterback.
Is
guy
there
who knows
a
more about
defining
Marino,
moment
but-
where Marino fucked off in the
He
playoffs?
made it to the Super Bowl his second year, and then they never made it back.
But in that game, did he fuck it off? Was he like not there for the moment?
He was to blame for that.
And that's what I'm saying. There's moments like you can always, there's tape. That's why there's tape, because we can always go back and watch
But
it.
you can go back and blame Donovan McNabb for not winning a Super Bowl.
We
There's
can't. I don't,
4 years, dude.
But
You gonna tell me that there's-
I didn't
Yeah,
watch
Well,
the
but see,
tape.
and this
I'm
is
not aware
my,
of
and
it.
I'm not saying that, and by any means, I'm not saying that Troy Aikman shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He's got 3 rings. At the end of the day, he's the quarterback. He's the leader of the team. He embodies those Cowboys teams from the early '90s. He was the leader, right? So I'm not taking anything away from Troy Aikman's career or him being in the Hall of Fame and saying he shouldn't be there. But my point is, when you look at it statistic-wise, the stats are almost the same. So what was the difference that came into play? How does
Super
the guy
Bowl
throw
rings.
for 30?
He
No,
won.
not the rings.
He won games.
When I say the differences that come into play, I'm saying the statistics throughout their entire playoff careers are damn near identical. Okay, McNabb played
so what are
16
the
total games.
factors that would make him win games and what would make him not?
Aikman played in 15 total games. McNabb played in 16 total games.
The
Their
defense.
yardages is about the exact same. Their touchdown to interception ratio is about exactly the same.
Fuck on.
All right.
I think we don't put enough emphasis on everybody that was if you give McNabb more weapons, does he do the stats are the same? How are the stats the same? But one guy got 3 rings and one guy didn't get 3 rings
Defense.
because he had a defense. He had better
Defense.
weapons around him. That's what I'm saying.
Not
So-
even better weapons around him.
So
Just say
McNabb
defense.
in my mind, McNabb deserves to begin it. I'm not saying Troy Aikman doesn't deserve it at all. It's just
McNabb definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I
We got cut.
don't know. It's today's Wednesday. It starts tomorrow. This will probably come out after that, but
What time the game start?
probably 5, 6 o'clock, 5:30. I bet it's Thursday. So, we have the Warriors coming off of a pretty easily swept under the rug Portland team. Like that was cake. They've been chilling.
I was really hoping the Raptors would get one, or not the. I'm sorry,
Damian
the Blazers get one.
Damian Lillard's ribs were hurt
Yeah.
unofficially.
Yeah. We know.
I said Warriors in 5. I said that the Blazers would get 1.
You were wrong.
And I was wrong. But they did go to, it was the overtime game. That was the one that they should have gotten, and they didn't get it.
Yep. I had the Warriors in 4. That was
I think them sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers is actually going to be like a negative, but we'll see how that plays out.
What, you saying too much rest?
No, I just think as far as like what people believe for this series, I think maybe because they saw how easy they swept the Portland Trail Blazers, people might be underestimating what the Raptors are going to do, and that's what I'm saying basically.
Well, Toronto just came off of a
impressive.
Jeez, dude. They won 4 straight to get out of that series, man.
I liked how the
unbelievable.
The Raptors won their series more than I thought. The way they won the series was way more impressive than the sweep, just in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
now, are they overextended now? But that's the thing. Like
I think so.
I don't think.
I do.
I don't necessarily think they
impressive?
are. I think that it's because of the Warriors are so depleted right now too that it might actually. I don't think that they have, as Jay said last night on Cena's Talk Too Much podcast. I don't think
shout out.
I don't think that they have. Technically, like, I don't think that they've shot their load. Like still think they got a little bit more.
They got a round 2 left.
That's what I said.
They shot their load.
Yeah, that's what JD said. Yeah,
Now, do you believe they haven't shot their load because Kevin Durant's coming back, or you think that
We don't want Durant back. We don't want him.
You think Steph just got a little bit left in the tank?
No,
or what?
I think the
Warriors will be
Raptors
fine.
still have stuff. The Raptors haven't totally shot their load. I
Oh,
think
that's who you were saying hasn't shot their load.
They still have a chance to come into this
definitely.
series.
They got what, 2 7-game series now under their belt throughout the playoffs?
The Raptors.
Didn't they go 7 in
No,
round 1?
They didn't go 7 just now.
No, they went 6 just now.
Oh, went 6. I'm sorry. They got 1.
They went
5, 7,
5,
6.
7, 6. Okay.
5, 7, 6. That's impressive. I like that. I like that they've been tested. They've gone.
Some say tested. Some say shot their load too quick.
No, I think the Warriors kind of like shot their load a long time ago. They got tested by
The Warriors are still on the foreplay stages.
Weren't they in the first round against the Clippers?
Yep.
Yeah.
They lost games to the Clippers.
Clippers took them all the way there.
They went to 5, right?
Who did they
round
face in the
Clippers won
second
2
round?
games.
Clippers won 2.
Who
Went
they
to
face
6.
in the second round?
Houston.
Houston went
Houston should
6.
have got him.
Houston should have got them.
I feel like everybody says that every year. Houston should have got him.
Well,
No,
I
if
mean,
Harden didn't
and then
get smacked
Houston
in the
gets nobody.
eye,
Durant went down,
Oh.
and Game 1 was given to the Warriors. So I mean, like Houston should have had them.
Given hot take.
I mean,
I saw something about the.
there's numbers.
Not disagreeing, I'm just saying
There's
hot
numbers
take.
that back that up. 81 calls that cost Houston 16 points. I mean, it's
How many
it's-
calls that would have given the
That's
Warriors
the
more points?
difference, bro. That was what the end of it was. The differentiating
Houston's
points
planning on
based on the
And that's
the
just
report
assuming that
of
they
the
made
officials.
every single free throw too. Then I'm guessing.
Dude, I didn't read the report. I just saw the numbers. But still, dude, that's
Well,
a lot.
They're
That's a
going to
lot.
shake up that roster now. It's
Yeah,
a
well, I
wrap.
think it's inevitable, man.
Yeah, I think the Raptors are going to be
CP3.
relevant.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see CP3 get his sorry ass out of there and come to the Lakers. Because that's what LeBron wants.
Hilarious that you bring that up.
I don't think.
I
That's
think
a very
I
good
can
fit.
see that happening, bro. Because I saw today that the Houston's front office is definitely talking about shaking up the roster.
Yep.
And that definitely means CP3's gone.
Well-
so if CP3's gone, where does he go? The team he should have been like 8 years ago, Kobe fucking Bryant for another championship.
Funny that you say that.
It's too late, man.
Because
What?
for our
if
audience,
CP3 comes up and plays with LeBron James, you're out of your mind. They're gonna win some shit.
I want a guy that I know that I'm going to be able to count on in a 7-game.
He didn't get
series.
hurt this year. He played
me-
all the way through.
let me interject, gentlemen.
They've choked. He's choked. He's gotten hurt.
He wouldn't choke in LA.
I love this.
He's long in the
great.
tooth, man.
Dude.
You
don't think
Chris
him and
Paul's not
LeBron
the guy.
James would be lit? That's his best friend. They're always every Instagram video they're turning up together, hanging out. Dude, they would win a championship.
2-3 years ago, maybe. No, but let's get back on track to the NBA Finals
Which
specifically.
we're talking
because
about.
I hate talking about guys that can't win championships anymore.
I do just want to say though that
So
we
LeBron
talked
James
about
can't win championships anymore?
Not this week. He can't win a championship this week.
All right, I got the Raptors winning. I got the Raptors winning
No,
in 6.
he can't actually. No, you know what? Yeah,
In 6?
Bronny Jr.
I got the Raptors in 6 easily. The Warriors might get the 2.
take off the headphones.
The
just
Warriors
walk out.
might get their 2 in at home, and I think they're gonna do one of those things that they did in the last series.
You know the first game's in Toronto, right?
What I'm saying, dude.
You want to know who's gonna win the first game?
I can see this is how I see it playing out. Raptors win the first game, lose the second game.
Split.
They come
So
back.
they lose home field then.
They lose home field. Then they come to freaking up north and they beat them like they did 2 in a row, and then they're gonna beat them the next.
So you got the Raptors winning 2 in a row in in Oracle.
I think 2-2-1-1.
2-2-1-1-1. So let's see. We've been on NBA for about 5 minutes now because you're using it constantly, and it's really easy to just retweak it, and it's bothersome and it's aggravating.
Here's how I would say it though. Why would he leave when he is going to get that recognition next year with KD gone?
He didn't get the recognition when KD wasn't there.
Well, that's a whole thing that's up in the air. Like KD, speaking of KD, I have read that he allegedly is going to participate in some 3-on-3 and 5-on-5 tomorrow. So
KD comes back Game 7.
What does that mean? Is he ready? Like
that means he's going to play Game 4.
Yeah, I would say that
if he plays 3-on-3, 5-on-5 tomorrow, there's no question he's playing.
I would be surprised because we've all said that KD's not coming back. So I would shit my britches.
That's kind of what the train we've been on.
They're gonna win the series.
I did.
If KD comes back, then Toronto's gonna have a tough time.
I did bring it up to my boy Nick in sports chat. Shout out Nick in sports chat, and he mentioned that a severe strained calf is also like a 4 to 6 week injury, and it is possible to have that kicking in the heel sensation that KD experienced in those scenarios. So. Is it a torn Achilles? Is it a partial torn Achilles? That's what I've always thought.
It might not be. Maybe we overhyped it.
Maybe we jumped the gun on it. But at the same time, dude, still coming back off of that in the NBA Finals and having to go hard, having to go 100%. Yeah, it's going to be tough for him.
The Warriors are. Let's put it this way: this is the most adversity the Warriors have faced
ever.
And I would put it above the 3-1 versus the Cavs loss.
No shot.
No shot. Ever.
They were down 3-1 to OKC.
This is bigger.
They were down 3-1.
This is tougher. They're not going against LeBron.
Dude, they're injured.
They went against KD and Russ.
They are injured. They're not as deep.
They went against Russ.
There's just a lot of problems.
They were down 3-1. So that
Russ is a choker. We all knew that the OKC was going to blow away that series.
He always does. You can watch the last 4 minutes of all the games, man.
Why is it his fault, though?
Because
he dribbles the ball into the
way
floor.
Too much.
He shoots too much. He turns the
ball over too much, and he's holding the ball way too much.
Who else do you want shooting on that team?
Kevin
Durant back in the day. Yeah,
that's what we were talking about.
That's Kevin Durant.
That's what we're talking about. Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant shooting.
That we're talking about now.
If you're now, then no.
Yeah,
Paul George.
Yeah, Paul George.
Paul George does shoot it a lot. Paul George shoots it a lot.
I would still, if I had to choose at the end of the game to take the last shot, I'm going Paul George.
I don't want Paul George taking 35 shots a game, though.
No,
but you want Russell Westbrook to take 35 shots?
No, I want Russ and Paul George, but I want PG taking 20 to 25 and Russ taking a solid 20.
Okay, that's fair. Paul George should take more shots than Westbrook.
So why did Russ Westbrook take more shots than KD for the entire time that he was there?
He did. That was bad. But he's learned from that, and he's grown. He's not the player he was back then. He's averaged 3 triple doubles.
He's still that far. Triple doubles are fake as can be because people let him get the rebounds.
Right? Yeah, they let him get those rebounds.
They do. Steven Adams literally will run up the court and say, "Here you go."
You cannot discredit a point guard averaging 11 rebounds.
I can totally.
Russ is still sitting at home on his couch.
I can 100. I can go pull up a YouTube video that's probably like 17 minutes long.
Sure, you can.
Steven Adams letting Russell Westbrook take the rebound.
I could pull up a YouTube video of bullshit on anyone, but I'm saying stop discrediting the guy.
I'm discrediting him.
All right, he's a great basketball player.
I'm discrediting him 100%.
He's one of the greatest. He's done something
not a greatest.
No, he definitely
not
is.
Even in the conversation.
He's arguably a top 3 point guard ever.
Derrick Rose would be so far and above Russell Westbrook if he never got hurt. It wouldn't even be close. They wouldn't be in the same fucking conversation.
That's circumstantial. That's circumstantial. He's my favorite player ever. But yes, he probably would have been. But I'm saying for you guys to say Russ is a choker, Russ is this, that, and the third.
Where's Russ right now?
That's fine.
Russ is at home on his couch.
But he's still, you cannot lie. He is the second best point guard in the NBA, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, after our IGTV
but that's none of my business.
Went over 10 minutes when we were trying to talk a little bit of free agency.
They can't make the playoffs?
No, because Jimmy's going to be fucking hurt after week 3.
This is the first injury of his career.
What are you talking about, Jimmy? This is his second injury of his career, and he's always seems to be getting hurt and
This
missing
is the
games.
first big injury
he had
before this.
No, he had a shoulder injury.
Okay, sure, but I'm saying he was playing a full slate of healthy games before this injury.
He threw for like 7. That first year, the last couple of games after he got traded to San Francisco, he was like 7 of 5 touchdown to interception for 700 yards. So first of all, Yeah, okay, they went 5-0. Congrats. Your quarterback wasn't that good.
We went 6-0. And second of all, he can stand the pocket and throw the ball. He can finish his throws in the pocket. He's accurate from the pocket.
They were 1-2.
Something Mitch Trubisky is not. But what I'm saying is when you say he's a better all-around player, there's no way you can say that.
He does more for his team night in and night out.
No, he does not. He does half of what Russ does for his team. He does half because the Celtics still got wins without Kyrie.
You're giving him too much credit.
The Thunder are the worst team in the West without Russ. The worst. The worst team.
Worse than
Paul
the
George and
Suns?
Steven Adams. They're not worse than the Suns.
Some of the problems that came out that surfaced in the finals, lack of depth. That's
Lack
like
of
what
spacing.
and then turnovers as usual.
Turnovers was the big one. You can't make up for the lack of depth and lack of spacing if you
And
turn the ball over too much.
And I'll be the first one to admit, Ryan called my ass out on Instagram yesterday. Granted,
Was that just yesterday?
it was
like
I think he did it twice.
That was after game 4, dude.
He was a little.
That was after game 1, I think.
He was a little too high up on everything.
Did you just see it yesterday?
I saw both of them. To ask the question: after this championship, does Kawhi Leonard have a seat at the table?
Which table?
The GOAT table.
This table, he can sit at this table
For this
anytime
generation.
soon. Anytime he
We'll
wants.
get him another chair.
Not to argue. I mean,
I'll
Kawhi.
give him my
Yeah,
chair.
you can have my chair.
You can get out of. I'll
I'll
get out of my
stand.
seat and everything. Yeah, I'll get off camera. I don't give a fuck.
This generation, so not to argue generations, to get into the whole LeBron Jordan argument. Okay, does he have a seat at this generation's GOAT table?
I think the torch is being passed to him from LeBron. So I think that is very likely for him to have a seat at the table. If he keeps it going, whether he brings another one to Toronto or he goes to another franchise, I think it says more if he can go to another franchise and bring a championship there. But this could be a handing off of the torch type of moment for him. He's still young enough to do it. This is still the league still is LeBron's. So it's someone's for a taking. We know he's entering his twilight years. He's still got a lot in him, but is it going to be Kawhi?
So no to answer your question.
I'm actually going to say yes.
As of today, no.
Yeah, today.
As of today, I think yes. No. I think, and this isn't. I'm not trying to throw
If this
shade.
table seats 5 from '96 to now, Kawhi Leonard does not have a seat at this table.
Kawhi has.
I think you're wrong.
Kawhi has first dibs at the kiddie table.
Yeah, Kawhi.
I think both of you are wrong.
That means he's almost at his pubescent years. He's about to get there.
Yeah, but either one of those guys could still come.
Yeah,
they're gonna get a free agent. Don't trade away your assets. With the Warriors having a down year, the next best team is the Rockets, and Chris Paul's old. He might not even be there next year.
They could beat the Rockets.
LeBron could beat the Rockets by himself.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
It takes one team to throw up a fucking king's ransom and say, "Hey, I'll give you 4 first-rounders in the future."
Yeah.
Is RJ Barrett that?
No.
Is John Morant that?
Jalen Rose thinks he is. Jalen Rose was just speaking very highly of RJ Barrett on the Jalen and Jacoby show.
I think he's going to be a fucking stud.
I'm very high on RJ Barrett.
I think he's good.
The best player in this draft today, and he probably has the longest career of anybody, and he's the most NBA ready today. And he is Steve Nash's godson.
That's a big proponent.
So,
but Canadian, huge negative. So that's going to keep people from getting hurt. It's part of the sport. If you've played any sport, you know you're going to get hurt at some point. It's just when is it going to happen to you?
That's true. It just seems, like I said, it just seems more prevalent because you can just rattle off the names right now. John
social
Wall,
media is
KD, DeMarcus Cousins,
social media
Kobe.
is why that's more prevalent.
That's true too.
That's
That
why.
has
Yeah, but I mean,
a
like,
big
is
factor
Kobe
in
the
it.
same player? Was Dominique the same player?
No, none of them have.
No,
Is
but I will say
fucking Boogie the same
Kobe
player?
did come back at that age better than I thought he would.
Better than yes. I thought he was going to be a shell of himself, but at the end of the day, that fadeaway is still unblockable. And he was so good at other parts of the game that he was able to mask. Dude, if you watch that Jazz game, he's so fucking slow. Yeah, he's so slow, bro. He has no lift. That dunk was
He barely
borderline embarrassing.
It was a rim grazer.
Like, yeah, Bob Cousy's thrown it down harder than that before.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a shame, man. They don't come back from the Achilles is probably the worst injury that I could think of. Right
That's
now.
why it's the most fucking legendary. Achilles never came back from it, Dan. I look for Wagner and Bonga to get traded today.
At this point, fuck it. Might as well just cut him. You can't even cut him, though.
We'll play 3-on-5. Fuck it.
I don't know who's going where, but there's going to be some interesting shit that happens tonight. I'm going to guarantee that.
I've got a little conspiracy theory for you. I think the Brotherhood's headed to LA. I really do. I think the Rockets are going to fucking waive Chris Paul and write him a check. And I think he's going to take that vet min.
I think that.
And I think Carmelo's a foregone conclusion.
Mid-level exception. I think that's happening. I'm happy.
I think that's a foregone conclusion.
That's the brotherhood. LeBron, Carmelo,
Melo for
Chris
sure.
Paul.
Lakers make the playoffs. Melo's a Laker.
And then they bring Dwayne Wade out of retirement.
Nah, I won't take it that far, buddy. While we're at it, let's get Jesus to cure Chris Bosh's fucking blood clots. And let's get all four and roll out the starting five from 2007.
And then Mike Miller comes out of retirement.
Dude, Mike would thrive on this team.
Real quickly, I just want to do this.
Someone call Memphis University. Get Penny on the phone. Tell him we need Mike, dude.
I just want to do this real quick, but just because JD's on the day, this would be JD's dream lineup today for the Lakers to roll out next year.
Let me hear it.
It would be obviously LeBron James, AD playing center.
Guard.
Oh, I wasn't going to go in order, but then 2 would be Dwayne Wade. Then 3 or
3-4.
3-4 would be. What do you think? Would be Kevin Love or Bosh? Who do you think you would want more?
I think that your team is not correct. That's what I think.
At 3 or 4?
I think the guys that you're selecting are not on JD's preferred team.
Here's the fucked up thing.
No, he wants Melo. He wants Mike Mill.
I don't.
He didn't say either of those guys.
I don't want Melo.
I was gonna get to him.
Oh. I do want Mike Mill bad. That dude was the number 1 recruit over at Memphis. He was balling him up yesterday at practice.
Mike Miller was.
He's 40. He's a man. He's 40.
1 through 5 and 6 man. I'd go Kyrie, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Kevin Love, AD.
Of the LeBron teammate squad.
Yeah, and then Mike Mill, 6th man, and then 7th man Carmelo. That's what I think JD's perfect squad.
I wouldn't put Carmelo on there.
He'd take Steve Novak before he took Carmelo.
Pump the brakes. I would take Carmelo before Steve Novak. I'm not insane. I wish he was my stepfather, but LeVar Ball.
Why do you wish he was your stepfather?
The entertainment value around the house has got to be sky high.
Okay.
And he can. If you watch the show, he makes pancakes that are fire.
He deserves to be on the Bulls.
He does, because the Bulls are fucking terrible.
His dad fits Chicago. Yellow teeth and all.
I'm hoping that he doesn't happen, but if he does, then go Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, I couldn't cheer for him either. And honestly, it's sad because he's probably a nice kid and he's a decent player. I think he can be good. His dad has ruined everything for me.
And that's been my argument.
They're projecting LaMelo to be picked in the top 5 next year.
Mm-hmm. Is he really?
I hope he breaks his ankle. I've never hoped that on anybody.
We don't wish that on people.
Oh, I do.
But LaMelo specifically, just like so.
What has he done to earn that?
He's done nothing.
We got to find a way to remove LeVar from the situation because we should be able to judge LaMelo and Lonzo specifically, but LaMelo
I think
strictly on himself. But unfortunately,
younger kids out of an opportunity to play at UCLA and really shine.
No, Jello screwed himself out of it.
Jello did, but he did take Melo out of it.
Yeah, but he's seen that he can look. Melo's still going to be a top 5 pick, barring injury. So, Jello would have been fine.
I don't see it at all.
Kemp was
him and Lonzo Ball might work well. Lonzo Ball runs the floor great and passes a transition great, which could lead to a lot of really fun plays with Zion.
It's a good player to play with Zion.
There's going to be some great alley-oops on that team this year for sure.
That's it, yeah.
You can admit that. But the thing I hate most about the Bulls draft, Daniel Gafford. Now, granted, I'm not saying I hate Daniel Gafford as a pick.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a center with mad hops. And thank God, I think he's retiring soon, and Joe Buck's going to be gone. I think Tony Romo should become the new Joe Buck, and he should do every sport.
You know,
Romo's
Joe
amazing.
Buck has hair plugs.
Oh, no way.
Surprise me.
Yeah.
Sounds like
guy
a Joe
also
Buck
wears
thing to
high
do.
heels. Hey, that surprise you?
Yeah, actually.
He's like, I can see,
Actually,
I can see Joe Buck being Henry Winkler's character from Waterboy when he gets mad and the phone's unplugged and he's in high heels, stomping his feet like if someone got a job over him back in the. I just hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
Is this the first time that you two have met?
Officially in person, yes, because
we go way back.
We do. Because technically we were introduced by you essentially over the internet, and not last year's Super Bowl, but when the New England Patriots played the Philadelphia Eagles, me and Chris went together on some $100 squares back home because obviously I'm from Chicago too, and we hit on those squares for $3,000.
And I just want to mention that he did not want in on it either. So, and
I was like, good luck. I've never had luck with squares at all.
Well,
ever.
neither had I.
Yeah, never, ever.
Just with someone I didn't know. So
I'm out. I was more than I was so happy that like 2 people that I was friends with were able to
100%.
be cool to a point where they could go in on $100 square, and then the fact that like he texted us, like the group, with like 5 minutes left in the game, or you
It was
like
even,
somebody
it was even
did.
less than that,
Bro,
though, I think.
Realize it, and guess what?
Means nothing.
One fumble, one interception, one missed extra point.
One blade of grass has too much water on it.
Well, I mean, it gets to be intense.
Like squirrel runs out into the field like in Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Yeah, exactly. But it's intense because then you have to contact. I talked to him about, hey, find this guy and get a pick in, get this pick in. People are texting me, who do you think I should pick? And I'm like, I don't want to help you, but I don't know, maybe this team, But it's like everyone talks about it for the entire length of time you're in, and then everyone follows it to see who wins.
Well, he's gonna have 4
I think
next
Patrick
year.
McCaw now holds the record for most consecutive podcasts mentioned.
Jeez.
Do you even know who Patrick McCaw is?
I don't.
All right,
I'm
he's
gonna be
UNLV's
honest on
finest.
this one.
He was a one and done from UNLV, and he's been on the Warriors for the last 2, and then the Raptors this past year, and he
Just
won
floating by and having
won
fun.
3 rings.
that's the guy to
and
go
he's
with
played
somehow. I
4
mean,
minutes in like 3 years.
They're people too, and it makes you be happy for your own situation. You know what I mean? Like, but I can't imagine the organization, the family, the fans. It's just
It's gonna be.
it's a shocker. I
They
mean,
got to play today too, and that's
gonna
gonna be
be
tough.
tough. Yeah, it's gonna
That
be
is
tough.
going to be tough, man. And just from personal experience, and I wasn't there when it happened. It was the year after I left. But, I had a teammate when I was in college pass away, and couldn't imagine, the team that year after that happened that he was playing with.
Not at all.
That shit ain't. That's tough, man. That's tough. So rest in peace. Our condolences to the Skaggs family
Absolutely.
again and the Angels organization.
Westbrook,
One more turnover in the 4th.
Yeah, just a bigger turnover. But so they have been talking.
He plays good for 3.5 quarters, and then like
Yeah.
the 4-minute mark comes in. It's just like off the foot, off the backboard,
Off the front of the rim.
off the back of the rim. I don't know.
And
Go ahead.
that ball goes
Sorry.
everywhere but through the rim
Yeah.
in the 4th quarter for Westbrook. But so they've been talking about, ever since the Paul George trade, they've been talking about trading Russell Westbrook now.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big suitors that I've heard of thus far leading the way is the Heat.
Right.
And the Bucks.
The Bucks with another one. I know the Bulls have actually also been in on it as well.
What's your insight there?
Let me get to that after the Heat.
Go.
I hope that he goes to the Heat because Jimmy Butler went to the Heat, and I would love to see those 2 whiners play on the same team.
That's like the perfect. You know what? If they would have just signed DeMarcus Cousins, it would have been awesome.
Then it would,
They're gonna have
it would have been the wines. The wines.
Jimmy-
totally.
and the
totally.
and the braids. It's not me anymore. All right. So would he be better in today's game than Steph Curry?
Oh. If he could be the volume shooter like Steph Curry, I think he might stand a chance.
Braids. It's not me anymore. All right. So
Guerrero Jr., that guy was just
wasn't it crazy that
pimp smacking the ball,
That's
dude.
crazy, though. That's a flaw that the home run derby has, is that Peterson hit 31 home runs less than Vlad, but because of the way that it
the way
shook
that
out.
the whole system, yeah.
So
because
he didn't even make it to Vlad didn't make it to
No.
the final. He hit
No.
91
Vlad-
home runs.
Vlad made it to the
Oh, did he? Wait, who did
So
he
what
play against? He
happened-
didn't play against Peterson. I thought that Peterson knocked
They
him
went in
out.
the semis. No,
So,
they went
I
together
could-
in the semis.
I can break it down for you real
Please.
quick. I love the new format.
Okay.
Now this is a problem that you have. Hashtag Pete Alonso, not my champ. Get that going. And I'll explain why.
I picked him to win before,
Did
by
you?
the way. Yes.
Well, he had by far the easiest road to win. Because
did he win?
No. Oh, yes, he did. He did. Hashtag not my champion. Okay. But the second round with Vlad and Jock Peterson was by far probably the most astonishing, biggest spectacle in the home run derby I've ever watched. It blew Josh Hamilton out of the water because you had Vlad come in. So the way it works now is there's 4 to each side. Okay, there's 8
AL,
to 4. No, it's just random.
Okay. Is there
and-
anything? Is there a detractor that places them against each other?
They're just seeded 1 through 8.
Most home runs through least home runs.
I don't believe so. I think they just put
They
them
just
1
kind of
through
put
8.
in a hat or something.
All right.
So you have 4 on each side, and then it's specific matchups. You have 4 minutes to hit as many home runs as you can to get 1 break, and then if you win, you go to the next round, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So Vlad came out and fucking destroyed
Smoking.
round 1. He hit 28 in round 1.
Yeah.
Just
29.
no, I think 29 was round 2.
Okay.
Round 1, I think was 28.
Got
But he's just towering.
But just 470, 460, just fucking mammo shots.
Yeah.
And Matt Chapman did his best. He was out there with his pops. His pop was kind of missing the zone, so Chapman lost, right? Then you have in the opposite side of that bracket, you had Jock Peterson versus who was it? who the hell did he beat in round one? Yeah, Jack Peterson played somebody in round one that I can't think of right now.
It wasn't Acuna.
No, Acuna played Bell. Pete Alonso was versus Carlos Santana, and then there was one freaking more. Can't remember who it was. It was Alex Bregman.
There you go.
It was Bregman.
I knew that.
Couldn't
think of it though.
Jack Peterson came out, hit 21 home runs. I think Bregman hit 16. So they both advanced. Acuna actually had a great first round advance, beat Josh Bell, which was a big upset. And then you had Pete Alonso and Carlos Santana's first rounds were god awful. Carlos Santana hit 13, and Pete Alonso barely squeaked past with 14.
Yeah.
But round two, that semifinal
Yeah,
with
was just
Vlad
insane.
versus Jack Peterson. Vlad comes out because he's the 8th seed, hits 29 home runs, which beats Josh Hamilton's record. Beats it.
What was it?
28.
Yeah.
And then Jack Peterson fucking ties it.
He hit 29 also.
He hit 29 also on almost beat it.
Jesus.
His last swing at 0 seconds, it hit the top of the wall. I called it. He Bregman'd it because Bregman kept hitting the top of the wall. He's just too small.
Why is it that we only care about the home run derby? Why don't we see how fast guys can run the bases? Why don't we see how fast
Like a
people
skills
can turn
game?
a double play?
'Cause chicks dig.
Why don't we put outfilders in the outfield and we just hit a bunch of fly balls to them and we see who the best outfielder is?
'Cause chicks dig the long ball, bro.
I think that's where and I'm down with the long ball, baby. I can hit it too, baby. Hey, but it's one of those things where like I think you have to start making the All-Star game a little more fun, right? Like in the NBA, they do a skills challenge.
Why
There's
not
a
like
three-point
a
contest. There's
defensive?
all this
Like,
kind of
why
stuff.
don't they shoot ground balls at the hot corner out of a
Yeah,
cannon at
out
these
of a cannon.
motherfuckers?
Or we